Thanks for watching again. Thanks for joining. And we're going to be discussing Microsoft Visio and Project today. The topic that the people have voted for this week, Microsoft Visio and Project on-premises binaries under online licenses. Why this topic? I see it recently quite widely abused because somebody heard that you can do that you can license your users with online licenses and then deploy traditional, or just not even deploy, continue using what was previously installed as traditional Visio and Project by just assigning users that were missing on-premises licenses with online licenses of Visio and Project. May you do that? Can you do that? Let's get to that. So it's not that simple. By default, you may know, by the way, you may be aware that that doesn't work with Office 365. So if you have Microsoft Office Standard or Microsoft Office Professional Plus installed on a device or on a terminal server, and terminal servers are a very interesting area, which we will touch upon. Please watch until the end. If you install traditional Office, not the one that you downloaded from the Office 365 portal, traditional one, from a CD, from previous binaries, Office 2019, Office 2016, you may not use online licenses to license that Office with one caveat. There's only one path, and it's very complicated. So, by the way, if you'd like me to explain how that works, please leave a comment here, or please leave a comment on my LinkedIn page if you follow me. Just message me or leave a comment under any of my posts that you'd like to hear about this. Send me a message anyway, it's better. If you have licenses, I'll quickly touch on that very quickly. So if you have licenses of Microsoft 365 from Software Assurance, from SA, a very specific SKU, very specific position, then those licenses, those subscriptions allow you to install traditional Office Professional Plus for the licensed users on a single device. That's the short version. Otherwise, you may not use online licenses to cover on-premises use of Microsoft Office packages, but you may, under certain conditions which are written here, and this is basically like a quote from Microsoft product terms website. So under these circumstances, you may install Office and Visio to use it traditional binaries, 2016 and earlier, which is another thing that you need to remember. Traditional binaries under an online license. The rules are the same. Let me quickly flip to the Visio rules. You may notice they're exactly the same. For Office and Project, for Visio and Project, the rules are exactly the same. So yes, it is allowed to deploy a copy of traditional binaries of Project and Visio under their online licenses, with the caveats that are outlined here. So firstly, what you need to understand is traditional, remember, if you don't know that, so the traditional Project and Visio is licensed per device. So if you license a device, then that device may be used by any user. So they were not user-based licenses. And that Project and Visio may be used by any user of that device. So because it's licensed for that particular device. So if you have a traditional license, it's very simple. But then when you have online subscriptions, what it says here is users may install a copy of Project standard, professional, and let me flip back quickly to Visio. Visio standard and professional, and their online counterpart subscriptions. Users, licensed users. So to me, it's a micromanagement nightmare because I tried to audit this using data from traditional software asset management tools, and it's never clear. And I expected to create issues with audits, and I've seen one audit when it created issues because, well, in any audit, it's not like a soft review. If I come to you to review your licensing, we're going to be having discussions where there are gray areas, what can be a problem in an audit. I will advise you how to mitigate those issues. When you have an auditor on your premises or working remotely, it doesn't matter. When you have an audit, there's not going to be any gray area discussion. It's going to be very harsh, black and white. So you have to follow the rules very strictly. So because it's licensed per user, now the device is not licensed when you install the traditional media for, say, well, we're on the project slide, so let's talk about project. You take project 2016, professional, put it on a device, a laptop, any laptop. Show your laptop. Take this laptop, put project on it, and then you have two options now. So option number one is to buy a license for traditional project 2016. You can't buy project 2016 right now. You would have to buy a license for project 2019, but then you can downgrade. The downgrade rights are tricky, but in this case, it's simple. The other option that you have, and by the way, let me go back to this one. So when you license it like this, any user may use that laptop. I can give it to my colleague, and they may use it, and there are no licensing issues there. What happens when I use online licenses? Say I am a licensed user for Project Online, Plan 3 or Plan 5. Only those plans allow you that sort of usage. And that's my laptop. I may install Project 2016 or a prior version, or Project Professional 2016 on that laptop under my Project Online subscription license. But then I may not give that device to my colleague because they get access to project and that is installed there. And with any licensing, any vendor, Microsoft, Oracle, SAP, when there's an ability for a user to use something, they must be licensed. So in this case, this laptop doesn't become licensed for Office Professional, say Office Professional 2016 that I installed on it. No, I am licensed as an online user with Project Online, and that lets me, just me, to use it on that laptop. That's it. So anyone else, the device does not become licensed for Project Professional 2016. We can even try and draw this. So this is because I think it must be visual. So I have a drawing board here. So my laptop, I don't know why it's yellow, but let it be yellow. This is my laptop. And this is, assume it's me. And I'm licensed with Project Online. Project Online. So under this rule, I'm allowed to install Project 2016 or earlier. And by the way, please pay attention to this. You're not allowed to install Project 2019 under that rule, which is the current version, or Project 2021, which is about to be released this year. You are not allowed to use them. So only 2016 and prior. This is how it's stipulated in product terms. Why? I have no idea why Project 2019 is not included in the list of permitted versions. Maybe it's a technical issue. Maybe because there was a compatibility issue previously between click-to-run binaries of Office 365 and previous project versions and editions. I don't know. I don't remember that. But that's the thing. So only 2016 and earlier. 2019, out of question. Forget about it. So this is me, and I'm licensed. So it's absolutely okay. I'll draw a green line here. It's absolutely okay for me to use this project on this device without assigning a Project 2016 license to that device. So far, so good, isn't it? So yeah, hello, good morning, by the way. Now we have another user, and say his name is Paul. Yeah, and he's not licensed with Project Online. No online license. No online license. So he may not even access my laptop. Because if he accesses my laptop, he logs into that laptop, he gets access to project, and therefore he must be already pre-licensed. So for Paul, I have two options. I either need to assign him an online license, or I must actually license the device because, well, I can't control who accesses it. So in modern workspaces, modern workplaces, it creates lots of micromanagement issues. How do you make sure that this laptop, if it's a company laptop, how do you make sure that this laptop is not may not be accessed by someone else in the office? That I'm the only user of this laptop. How do you make sure? It doesn't work like this in modern organizations. So what happens is there's a device and it may be accessed by anyone because it's a company device. So you may give it to someone else. So then, if you only have 10 people subscribed for Office, if you only have 10 people subscribed for Project Online, and then that device gets to someone who's not subscribed to Project Online, that immediately creates a non-compliant situation. So I would only do this. I would only follow this direction when there's no choice and when I have very strict controls about who can access the device. Otherwise, the device is not licensed. Again, the user is licensed, and then the user is allowed to use previous versions of project on-premises binaries under their online license. Users. So then any user that is allowed to access this device must be licensed, as I said, with an online license. And when you have a device like this, I wouldn't even do that. So when you have a device that may be shared by anyone in the office, it's not something that is attached and very strictly assigned. You can actually, I may be wrong. So if you know Active Directory and Windows domain, as far as I remember from my previous times, you could have had a policy when you assign a single device to single user. It's just restrict device to a user. And now I'm remembering, I've seen this in 2014, a security company, IT security company, they had this rule. So a laptop could only be used by a single user that was assigned to that laptop, no one else. In that case, if you have those controls, you may demonstrate them to Microsoft or to auditors, and you can demonstrate them. In that particular case, yeah, well, you may do this. So the other thing that doesn't work here is terminal server installations. Why? So that's another thing I've recently seen twice in the last 2-3 months. When a company deployed, say we have a terminal server. Let me use white ink for this. Terminal server. It's a server somewhere in a server room or on hosting. So they had a terminal server with Citrix, and there was a copy of project deployed in that Citrix server. And actually, because if you remember that Project Online is licensed per user, so the logical way of thinking they followed, these two companies, exactly the same logical way of thinking. So we have a group of users. Let me just quickly draw, like the so-called whale persons. So we have a group of users, and all these users have project online. I'll just put PO project online licenses. We put them all in a single Active Directory group, single AD group, and then we'll let them access this traditional, not online version, not click to run, traditional Project 2016, Project 2013, Project 2010 in the terminal server, because they're licensed with Project Online. That's not allowed. So simple as that. No, you may not do that, because let me go back to the rules. And I'll explain why. So let's go to project, but Visio is exactly the same. Firstly, and there's another thing, another caveat that I didn't touch. So I might actually use only one copy. So if I have 2 laptops or 2 desktops, it says like a copy. It's very difficult to manage. So the caveat is strict, but the condition is strict, but it's very difficult to track. So maybe you're not going to be punished for this. But just remember, it's only one copy that is allowed. As I already said, it's only for versions of 2016 and prior. So Project Visio 2019, you may not use under this rule. And then the device must be licensed for and running Office Standard or Professional Plus. So it's not. So in another instance, I saw devices without Office, development devices or something like that. So devices without Office, not licensed for Office, with Visio or Project deployed on them. Why would you do that? I mean, normally you would have a copy of Office on the device in a modern infrastructure, but I've seen this. So it must be licensed and running Office Standard or Professional Plus. Licensed for and running. And may also be licensed through, there's a caveat in gray here that, devices licensed through Microsoft 365 from SA, they're also eligible for this particular right. In a terminal server is not a licensed and running device. So because licensing is per device. Licensing is per device. Let me go back to the to my this slide. So say each of these users have a laptop or a desktop. I'll only draw one of them. So when Project Visio is installed here under online subscription, and this is, as I already said, there's a one-to-one link. Nobody else can access this device. When Project on premises is installed on this device, this user is licensed for Project Online. They may, and also this device must be licensed and running Office Standard or Professional Plus. Must be licensed and running it. Then in that case, everything is fine, because that's the licensed device. You may install and run a copy of Project 2016 or Visio 2016 or earlier versions on a device that is licensed for and running Office Standard, Office Professional Plus. When this project, actually, let me do this way with red ink. This project is not installed on a licensed device. It's installed on a terminal server. Therefore, this rule does not extend to terminal servers. And you may argue, Alex, common sense, licensed device is this device is licensed device. But then project must be installed and run on the licensed device. Users may install and run Project 2016 under an online subscription on a licensed device that is also licensed and running Office Standard. That just doesn't apply to this terminal server. Just forget about it. So using online licenses to cover for non-online media of Project and Visio in a terminal server is out of question. That will create all sorts of problems. So, and I can explain why. Or can I? I would like you to help me. I would like you to remind me what was there, because I don't manage devices. I'm not a day-to-day IT support person. But what I was told by Microsoft, the reason they introduced this rule was because there was incompatibility between binaries of click-to-run binaries and non-click-to-run binaries, traditional binaries and online binaries. Therefore, some users just had to, when they had, say, Office Professional Plus 2013 deployed on their devices and they would subscribe for Project Online, they couldn't install Project Online Click-to-Run on those devices because there's an incompatibility between the binaries. It just wouldn't be allowed to be installed. Therefore, Microsoft gave this allowance to those people with laptops and desktops in that particular situation. It's not an overarching, like, company-wide okay to use online licenses and run non-online binaries under those licenses. Nope. It's only for those exceptional circumstances. Exceptional circumstances. So my professional advice would be, don't do that. If you don't have those incompatibility issues, don't do that. If you have to do that, if you have those incompatibility issues, you must make sure Paul here doesn't have access to that device because he doesn't have an online license. Otherwise, if that device is maybe shared by anyone, well, if you have a SAM tool, software asset management tool, here's my suggestion. When you track usage of such copies of Office and Visio, using the software asset management tool, say Snow, ServiceNow, any other tool that tracks usage by a user, what you need to do on those devices, you need to track not only usage of Project and Visio themselves to make sure everybody's licensed, but also because then it's a reasonable data that you may show to the auditors that although everybody's in the company may access the device, only 2 or 3 people did and actually do on a day-to-day basis. What you need to track, you also need to track all the users of that device. So I don't know how other tools do that. I know that in Snow License Manager, you can tell Snow to track licenses, counting users, all users of the device. The problem with that is that in Snow, you may not do different tracking for, say, like part of devices track this way, the other part of devices track it differently. So this must be a global rule for all the copies of project, count all the users. And if you have a mixture of device licenses and user licenses, well, you kind of out of options. So I would like to see a tool that is capable of tracking this when you have a mixture of device licenses and device binaries running under online licenses under these allowances, like here. I would like to see a tool that can do that. But there's probably a myriad of other issues and licensing scenarios no tool can do. This is one of those, I'm pretty sure. But challenge me. Show me something that's working. Unfortunately, the narrative around the tools is we're going to buy a tool, we're going to install it, and it's going to do everything. Not in this case. And there are hundreds of other cases when tools are absolutely just incapable. So just to wrap this up, please remember that for Project and Visio online licenses, a licensed user may install 1 copy of the same products, version 2016. Edition doesn't matter, which is a good thing. But it must be only installed on a device that also has installed and running Office Standard or Professional Plus, not Office 365, the previous, the on-premises versions. In that case, in those incompatible, binary incompatibility cases, there's this very little exception. This is not an overarching rule. Don't do this company-wide. There's this little exception where that is allowed. And if you find this video useful, if you think I'm talking sense, please click like. Please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel. Please help me get to 1,000 subscribers by my birthday, which is 1st of July 2021. Well, it's 1st of July any year, and this video may survive a few years on YouTube. I'd be immensely grateful for that. So thank you very much for being here today. Thank you for your hellos and questions. Please come to this LinkedIn page. Please vote for the next week's topic. And I wish you a very great and productive week and safe with knowledge of licensing.